Good morning. Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Boland. I'm going to get down to the news right at hand. I was reading an article out of the Epoch Times newspaper, and I came across this article yesterday, and it just blew my mind. And I'm going to read a portion of this article. It's a short article. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to give my spin on it. But it just blew me away. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had to literally read it again. I'm like, really? And it says, it's entitled California Requires Aztec Prayer in Schools, Group Sues. Let me read that again. California Requires Aztec Prayer in Schools, Group Sues. Now, of course, I'm not surprised that California would have something like this in the schools. Excuse me. And it says, parents in California and a civil rights group are suing the state over its imposition earlier this year of a novel public school curriculum that reportedly has students praying to Aztec gods. Look at this now. The curriculum's unequivocal promotion of 5 Aztec gods or deities through repetitive chanting and affirmation of their symbolic principles constitutes an unlawful government preference towards a particular religious practice, Frank Zhu, president of Californians for Equal Rights Foundation, said in a statement. This public endorsement of the Aztec religion fundamentally erodes equal education rights and irresponsibly glorifies anthropomorphic male deities whose religious rituals involve gruesome human sacrifice and human dismemberment. Paul Jonah, a partner of LaMarjorie and Joanna LLP and Thomas More Society, special counsel said in a statement, the Aztecs regularly performed gruesome and horrific acts for the sole purpose of pacifying and appeasing the very beings that the prayers from the curriculum invoke. And that's all I'm going to read right there. You guys can, if you haven't subscribed to the Epoch Times newspaper, feel free to do so. I mean, it's a good newspaper if you already don't have it. But I just wanted to read that portion of it because it just shook me to my core. Now, before I read another excerpt from a book that I purchased a few weeks ago, I want to point out this very important. Number one, this is not an attack against anyone's religious beliefs. This is not an attack against anyone's religious beliefs, and neither is this an attack against descendants of the Aztecs or in any way. I just simply wanted to share this article because I wanted to make my comments in reference to how most public schools in America have rejected the Christian God and Christian prayer, but it's okay to pray to a group of gods that require human sacrifice. That's my problem. Now, I wanted to read something here from a book that I purchased several weeks ago by Indian author and best-selling author by the name of Denise D'Souza. Some of you know him, Denise D'Souza. The title of the book is America, Imagine a World Without Her. This was written in 2014. And there is a chapter in the book where he talks about how that Americans, when they first began to travel here to the Americas, how they discovered the brutality of many of the Aztec groups that were in the region at that time. And I wanted to read a portion of this to show the severity of what was going on and how that the school curriculum in California is trying to invoke this idea of praying to these Aztec gods to the children. These are gods that required human sacrifice. Now listen to this. It says, there's a paragraph on page 94. It says, when Bernal Diaz arrived in Mexico with the swashbuckling army of Hernan Cortes, he and his fellow Spaniards saw things they had never seen before. Indeed, they witnessed one of the most gruesome spectacles ever seen, something akin to what American soldiers saw after World War II when they entered the Nazi concentration camps. As Diaz describes the Aztecs in an account generally corroborated by modern scholars, states, they strike open the wretched Indian's chest with flint knives and hastily tear out the populating heart, which, with the blood, they present to the idols in whose names they have performed the sacrifice. Then they cut off the arms, thighs, and head, eating the arms and thighs at their ceremonial banquets. End quote. This is the brutality describes the brutality of these Aztecs, ancient Aztecs, who sacrificed these individuals to their gods. Now, what's appalling about this is this very ideology that happened over hundreds of years ago is being pushed in a school, a public school where our children attend. It's just appalling to me. And I hope and pray that this individual, this group of human rights specialists will get what they want and defeat this situation, because it's just appalling. You know, it's amazing to me how that America has come so far away from the morals and principles that we once held here so dearly in our country. But to have our children praying to a Aztec god that requires human sacrifice in the schools is appalling. You don't want anything that has to do with the Bible or anything that has to do with the Christian God in the schools, but yet you push this idea. See, what that suggests to me is that there's some kind of agenda going on. There's no way to justify this whatsoever. It's sickening. It's very sickening. But once again, I just wanted to say, I'm not here trying to attack anyone's religious beliefs. I'm not here attacking anyone who may be descendants of the Aztecs or anything. I'm just trying to show the contrast between then and now, and the contrast between the Christian God and these Aztec gods who require human sacrifice. And they actually perform the human sacrifice. And I know what some people might be thinking, well, what about that situation in the Old Testament when God required Abraham to sacrifice his son? Yeah, God required Abraham to sacrifice his son, but just when he was about to raise a knife to stab him, the angel of the Lord stopped him. It was a test of his faith to see if he was going to trust God. He never sacrificed his son. So God is not a bloodthirsty God who desires the God of the Bible, rather, is not a bloodthirsty God who desires human sacrifice. But yet you have in California these schools, I don't know which schools or what county, but clearly the article states in California, you have schools in California schools pushing a curriculum that requires the children or suggests that the children pray to 5 Aztec gods, like I said, 5 Aztec gods that require human sacrifice. It's just appalling to me. And these type of things need to be exposed, and they need to be fought, and they need to be pushed against. But if you guys like this video, please press the like button, make your comments known, share this video, and subscribe to this video. God bless you, and see you again on RCB News.